Alright, boys and girls, so we're going to go ahead and get started in Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is super interesting. We're going to do a lot of algebra, and I already kind of told you about that. But Chapter 7.1, the first lesson is about exponents. Our objective for today is I can write and evaluate expressions using exponents. So some of you are familiar with exponents, you've used them in the past, and this will give you an even further in-depth knowledge of exponents. So first of all, we need to look at a couple of definitions here. Just like in addition, when we have repeated addition, it gives us multiplication. Exponents are a simple way to show repeated multiplication. So here we have 5 to the third power. Now in this, our base is 5. That's the factor that we're going to repeatedly multiply. And our exponent is the little number written up top. In this case, it's a 3, or to the third power. That's how many times we're going to multiply our base. So in this situation, 5, let's see if I can get my thing to work here, 5 to the third power would be written like this. 5 times 5 times 5. So it's written 3 times because our exponent was 3, so we wrote it 3 times. So to find the answer of what is 5 to the third power, we would do 5 times 5, which we know our facts is 25, times 5. And I know that 5 quarters would be $1.25 or 125. So here we have an example. It looks like we're using one or more exponents to write the expression. So obviously we have the same number repeated multiple times. And we're multiplying them because, hold on. Where's my laser? There it is. We're multiplying them because exponents are repeated multiplication, not addition. Multiplication. So we're repeating the factor 7. See that? This number is repeated. That is our base. So the repeated factor is 7, or the big number. And then 7 is used as a factor how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So because we repeated it 5 times, 5 becomes our exponent. So this expression written as an exponent would be 7 to the 5th power. So now here's another example. We're going to again use one or more exponents to write the expression. Now we do have 2 different repeated factors here. That's okay. We can still do this. If you think back to when we did prime factorization, we've seen something like this similar before. So let's go ahead and fill in this. The numbers blank and blank are used as repeated factor. Well, looking at my problem, the numbers 6 and 8 are used as repeated factors. So I'm going to fill those in there. 6 and 8. These are our bases, or our big number. 6 is used as a factor how many times? Once, twice, so 2 times. Or 6 to the second power. Or another way we can say this, a special way, is 6 squared. You'll hear that a lot. If it's to the second power, it's also called 6 squared. Now, 8 is used as a factor how many times? 1, 2, 3 times. So 8 to the third power, or 8 to the power of 3, or the special way to say the third power is also 8 cubed. So we're going to go ahead and write this as 6 to the second power times 8 to the third power. Again, or that could be 6 squared times 8 cubed. Or 6 to the second times 8 to the third. A couple of different ways to say it, and you'll hear all of those ways. Alright, so now where it says try it, you guys know this is where you need to pause your video and try this. And please put this on the right side of your notebook so that I can check it before we move on to the next thing. Or sorry, by the end of your lesson, you'll show me all of your try it problems. You need to do this on your own because it's very important that you try it on your own. So pause the video, and then I'll do the problem together with you after you tried it on your own to check your work. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and checked your work. Looking at how many factors we have here, we have two different factors repeated. We have 9 repeated and 7 repeated. It looks like 9 is our first base, and they repeated it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so 9 to the 4th power times 7, and they repeated it twice to the 2nd power. Hopefully you got that one right. If not, go ahead and correct your work. Okay, so here we're going to find the value. They gave us 10 to the 3rd power, or 10 cubed. So what that looks like, I'm going to go ahead and show you, is 10 times 10 times 10 equals something. Okay, this is what we're looking for, the value. So I'm going to break it down first. Well, 10 times 10 is 100. And then I'm going to take 100 and times it by this last 10. So I'm just kind of rewriting it. 100 times 10 equals 1,000. So 10 cubed is equal to 1,000. And that should look familiar. We've done that in the past where we've said 10 to the 3rd is 10, or 1 with 3 zeros after it. So you've seen that before. But that is what it looks like. 10 times 10 is 100. Take 100 and multiply it by the last 10 gives you 1,000. All right, your turn to try it. We have 6 to the 4th power. Go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own in the right side of your notebook, and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier, but don't let it fool you. We have 6 times 6, and that is 36. Then we're going to do 36 times 6. So far we've used 6 to the 3rd power. I'm not sure what 36 times 6 is. I'll check my work over here. 216. Okay, so I've used a total of, let me switch colors here, see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3 6s, and I need 4 6s, so I'm going to do 216 times 6 one more time, just to make sure I get all 4 of my 6s in here. 216 times 6, I'll do it over here. 6 times 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 1,296. Double check my work. Yeah, looks pretty good. 1,296. Hopefully you did just as well. Okay, now this problem's a little bit different, so I'm going to read it to you and explain what it's asking, because you're going to see problems like this. What it says is write 81 as an exponent using 3 as the base. So we want to use 3 as our base. That's our number that we're going to multiply many times. So if I have 3 here, I want to know what should my exponent be. Oops, that looks like a 0. Sorry, it's supposed to be like a little square. What am I going to put right here to make it equal to 81? That's the real question. How many times do I multiply 3 to get 81? So let's go ahead and try this. 3 times 3 gives me 9. 9 times 3 gives me 27. 27 times 3 gives me, oh, I'm not sure. Let's try it over here. 7 times 3 is 1. Oh, this is looking pretty good. Gives me 81. Perfect. So now I know that I've reached 81. I just need to see how many 3s I used. I used 1, 2, 3, 4 3s. So I have to do 3 to the 4th power to get a value of 81. And that's my answer. You might have to watch that video a second time or kind of rewind and replay that to make sure you understood that. Okay, so this one's a little bit, it's the same process, it's just different numbers. You've got 343 as the value that you're looking for, and you're going to write an exponent by using 7 as the base. So you're going to have 7 as your main number. You're looking for your exponent here. Oh, that's supposed to be a question mark. And you're trying to add up or multiply up to 343. Go ahead and pause it and try it. Okay, so I hope you tried it. Let's see what we did. Sorry. Let's go ahead and try and see what we've got here. I'm going to do 7 times 7 to start us off. I know that that gives me 49. 49 times 7, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'll do some math on the side here. 7 times 9, 56. Sorry, totally not 56. Try that again. 7 times 9 is 63. Obviously, Thanksgiving break for me. 7 times 4 is 28. 9, 30, 31, 32, 34. That was easy. We got to 343 very quickly. Let's circle how many 7s we had. I had 1, 2, 3 7s. So 7 to the third power equals 343. Not too bad. Hopefully you got that one right. Okay, we're so almost done here. So here's another example, just kind of a word problem. It says the number of games in the first round of a chess tournament is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Write the number of games using an exponent. That's easy. Here we have all of these 2's as a repeated factor. Obviously, I'm going to use 2 as my base. Now, I just need to see how many times was 2 repeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 2 to the 6th power is the number of games using an exponent. And I'm going to write number of games. And that was actually an example from your homework. Easy as pie. So here's your turn to try it. A little bit different, but I think you can figure it out. The number of gallons of water in a tank at the aquarium is equal to 8 to the 3rd power. So how many gallons of water are in the tank? So this time they gave you the base and the exponent and asked you to find the value. Pause the video and try it. Okay, let's go ahead and see how we did this. So I'm going to take 8 to the 3rd power. My 8 is my repeated factor, and I'm going to repeat it 3 times. So this will look like 8 times 8 times 8 equals however many gallons. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 times 8, which I know is 64. And then I have one more 8 to multiply that by. 64 times 8 equals, well, I'm not sure, let's do some math over here. 8 times 4 is 32. 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51. 512. So there are 512 gallons in the tank. Alright guys, that's all that I have for our video today. So if you need to go back, rewatch, take notes. Well, you already should have taken notes, of course, but if you need to go back and clarify any of your knowledge or practice those problems again, feel free to do it. If not, you can come and check off your work with me, and you can get started on the next steps of your Flipped Friday classroom.